It's honestly impressive how consistent some teams are at failing.
The Saints were known to their fans as the Aints. They would even come to games with paper bags over their heads to hide their identities.
So let's pull off the masks, throw away the PR fluff, and give every team the nickname that they truly deserve. Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, there are a few teams out there that know how to blow leads like the Falcons. Even as we approach a decade since that now legendary Super Bowl loss to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, it's clear that this franchise is still haunted by 28-3. Arizoned out Cardinals. Arizona is the NFL's version of a waiting room. When you look out in the desert, it just seems like there's no plan, no energy, no sense of urgency. Just vague dreams of an on-the-fly rebuild and hoping that Kyler Murray's Call of Duty stats don't eclipse his quarterback rating. Baltimore Ravens. The team has gotten used to an annual exercise in postseason pain. Once the regular season wraps up, the Ravens inevitably end up balling because no matter how good Lamar is, no matter how dynamic the defense looks in the fall, January arrives and hits them like a ton of bricks. Buffalo Bridesmaids. The Buffalo Bills, the NFL's ringless wonders, have danced at the altar 4 times in the 90s and have got left there every single time in increasingly tragic fashion. Now it's a Josh Allen-led sequel with the same ending. Spectacular effort, tragic result. There is just no franchise that does heartbreak quite like Buffalo. Carolina Kitties. The Panthers went from Super Bowl contenders with Cam Newton to, well, basically irrelevant background noise for the NFL season. Every offseason brings another round of trust the process like nonsense. But I mean, honestly, at this point, the only thing we can trust about Carolina is that they're more likely to take a cat nap than break their claws out. Chicago, very good off-seasons. No one wins April quite like the Bears. I mean, draft hype, free agent buzz, endless optimism. Once again, they're entering the season with outsized expectations. Let's see if year 2 with Caleb Williams is when the stars finally align and Chicago is able to turn the off-season excitement into actual results. Cincinnati Bengals. They can't protect Burrow on a regular basis, can't pay everyone, and despite all of the elite talent on their roster, they keep slipping on the same banana peels every year. Just bungling away opportunity after opportunity. Cleveland Brownstains. Between the QB chaos, ownership disasters, and the just deeply weird energy, the Browns are the NFL's cautionary tale. If there's one thing that we've learned watching the on-field performance and the, off-field mess a la the Deshaun Watson disaster, the embarrassments around the Myles Garrett extension, and, generally crazy decisions like drafting 2 quarterbacks in a single draft and having 5 in a camp, well, there's no amount of Febreze that can fix this franchise. Dallas Vow Boys. Every single August, they vow that this is our year. And when we check back in on that promise in January, well, next year for sure. Yeah, it's just the same old broken promise that has been rinse and repeat for the last 3 decades. Denver Broncos. After some brutal years of quarterback purgatory following Peyton Manning's retirement, the Broncos finally think that they have their guy once again. Now, literally, everything hinges on Bo Nix. He is either a savior or the next Paxton Lynch. Detroit Liars. The team that we wanted to believe in the gritty, lovable underdog arc, looks like they could turn into another tragic rise and fall. First, there was the NFC title game meltdown against the 49ers. Then there was the double-digit loss at home as the 1 seed when playing against Washington in the divisional round this past year. Oh, then that was followed by painful coordinator departures, losing both offensive coordinator Ben Johnson and defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. And if that weren't enough, now Ragnow, their Pro Bowl offensive lineman, retires out of the blue at 29. Yeah, Detroit keeps trying to tell us that they're contenders, but how can we ever trust these Lions? Green Bay Slackers. Green Bay lived lavishly with their 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks that held it down, keeping them in regular contention and capturing 2 Super Bowl wins over the last 30-plus years. But now, well, the Packers are just coasting on reputation while quietly becoming the team that nobody fears in January. They enjoy the view from the couch once the playoffs begin to advance and the stakes are actually raised. Houston Texans. The Houston Texans could give a masterclass in self-inflicted wounds and infecting them. Every franchise misstep, from trading DeAndre Hopkins to the strange end to the Bill O'Brien era to now ignoring their O-line needs despite finally having a real quarterback, feels like a case study in sabotage. Indianapolis Dolts. A dictionary defined dolt is a slow-witted person. Exhibit A, still running it back with Chris Ballard as their GM despite his many blunders. Oh, and Exhibit B, every single quarterback plan that they've deployed post Andrew Luck. Jacksonville Jaguars. This team has absolutely fallen apart over the last decade, and it just seems determined just not to make any progress whatsoever. This want-to-be fierce organization is going to keep wearing bags on their heads for many years to come. Kansas City cheats. Yeah, let's just say the refs know when and where to throw those flags when Kansas City takes to the field. The Chiefs might be the NFL's final boss, but even casual fans can see the glitches in the game.
We knew it was going to be us against the refs going into this game.
Lost Vegas Raiders. Yeah, come on, let's face it. At this point, this is an organization that, while storied, has absolutely no direction. In the last 2 decades plus, there has been just 2 seasons of playoffs, and both times they got bounced in the wild card. The truth of the matter is that the Raiders have made wrong turns at every single opportunity, from GMs to coaches to draft picks, and honestly, they are no closer to making any actual progress than they were 22 years ago. Los Angeles chokers. Yeah, year after year, they assemble a roster brimming with talent, overflowing with it, only to falter when it matters the absolute most. They find new and fantastical ways to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Los Angeles scrams. The Rams have a knack for making grand exits. From relocating cities to dismantling championship rosters, they just seem to have some very deeply rooted commitment issues. Miami Dolphins. Yeah, the Dolphins are just the embodiment of mediocrity at this point. They flirt with playoff contention, but never fully commit. Their performances against top-tier teams are, well, laughable, and their inability to win meaningful games has just become a running joke. Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, sad to say it, but this dedicated fan base needs all the Vicodin pain relief that they can get for everything that they've gone through. Seriously, being a Vikings fan requires a high pain tolerance. New England Patriots. The Patriots are clinging to the past like a security blanket. Post-Brady, they have really struggled to find their identity, often resorting to nostalgia by bringing back familiar faces, first with Jared Mayo and now Mike Vrabel. New Orleans Saints. The Saints have been in a state of denial ever since Drew Brees hung up his cleats. Instead of rebuilding, they have opted to patch holes with aging veterans, leading to predictable results. New York Giant failures. Cold hard truth is that over the past decade, the New York Giants have failed in every single aspect. From questionable draft picks to the quarterback carousel and getting clowned on for letting Saquon Barkley walk on national television,
I'm gonna have a tough time sleeping if Saquon goes to Philadelphia, I'll tell you that.
They have turned dysfunction into an art form. New York jettison QBs. No team knows how to ostracize their signal caller and jettison him out of town quite like the New York Jets. Literally, jettison means cargo discarded from a ship or aircraft. And figuratively, it means to abandon an idea, plan, or person. And if that's not the Jets for you, then I don't know what is. Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have become one of the league's most exhilarating teams, from the Phillies special to their innovative tush push, and continue to entertain and perform with the best of them. Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh's been in playoff purgatory for a while now. This team consistently finished with decent records, but fails to make deep playoff runs. They're the epitome of good, not great. San Francisco 49 IRs. Despite assembling one of the most talented teams in the league, they just cannot seem to keep their stars on the field and off the IR. Their Super Bowl aspirations are constantly derailed by a litany of ailments, making them the most formidable team in theory, but not quite in practice. Seattle Seahawks. The K is silent here, just like the Seahawks, and their once vaunted 12th man have been over the last decade since the Legion of Boom disbanded. Without their once feared home field advantage, Seattle really just isn't the same. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, transitioning from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield is like going from a luxury sports car to a nice but middle-of-the-road pickup truck. Sure, Baker brings grit and determination, but the drop-off in talent is very evident, and the Buccaneers are more of a team in flux than they really want to admit. Tennessee Titanics. The Titans are the NFL's version of a slow-motion disaster. From trading away star players, cough cough A.J. Brown, to whiffing on draft picks with the likes of Isaiah Wilson, Caleb Farley, and Traylon Burks. all of their decision-making has been horrendous. Washington Commandeers. If you take a look back through the U.S. history books, you'll see the famous picture titled Washington Crossing the Delaware, which shows the moment leading up to a surprising and crucial victory that helped reignite the American Revolution and caused a massive boost in morale. And crazy enough, something very similar is playing out in DC hundreds of years later with their football team. After being the laughingstock of the NFL for the entire Dan Snyder era, which spanned, multiple decades, the Commanders have now commandeered a new narrative. With new ownership, a promising young quarterback, and a revamped front office, they're charting a new course. The early results are very promising, with an 8-win improvement, an NFC Championship game appearance, and one of the best rookie quarterback seasons ever. Now, with the Commanders' cause being reignited and the fan base morale being boosted, 31 other NFL teams need to be on the lookout for Daniels crossing the Delaware. But hey, which of these team nicknames do you think are the most fitting? What do you think we're right on here? What do you think we're wrong about? Do you have anything better? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.